an hourly rapid arena. We're joining pretty late into this, but we could have a little bit of fun. So why not? Why not jump in? Well, maybe we're not joining way too late. We're only 20 points behind with an hour to go of a 2-hour arena. But yeah, we might be able to have a little bit of fun. As you can tell, I played a little bit where I've gotten the rapid rating up to 2300-ish. I said the goal rating was 2350. Maybe we'll get a decent pairing to kick things off, and we'll try to climb up the ladder a little bit faster by berserking and splitting the time in half here, as we're playing against a 1700, and Blitzy 1600, and in Bullet. Okay, so we should be fine here, and happy to see a dynamic opening with the Dutch from the get-go. So we're just going to go with straight Fianchetto system and see what type of Dutch he wants and go from there. So what kind of Dutch do you want, sir? What type of Dutch? Would you like the Leningrad flavor? How about the classical flavor, or my personal favorite to play against, the Stonewall flavor? I love to break the wall. There's few things that bring me such joy. Come on, kaboom. All right, we got a Leningrad flavor. Fair enough. Let's get it. Oh, he woke up now. Getting some very natural moves from him as we are gradually whittling away at his clock edge. That's one of the fun things about playing from behind. You try to catch up. All right, and that move feels a little off. Makes me want to go knight g5 straight away to test him. And the test was worth the test, because it looks like we are getting material here. If queen e8, knight takes c7. And I'm thinking about doing it anyway. Knight takes c7, rook b8, knight d5. It's a lot of play, but I'm just going to take the rook, because that seems to be the simpler plan here. Trade when you're up. So let's go ahead and try to make a few trades. How about it? Bishop e6 is met by queen takes b7. All right, and how about bishop e3 with the idea of bishop c5? Again, bishop e6 is met by queen takes b7, and now with the bishop on e3, we have the extra idea when you're up material, trade down. Can't insist upon this enough as we're looking to close out this game. Let's go ahead and get some control over key squares. I expect knight e6 or b6, something of the like. Bishop d4 helps me force things some, where I can be guaranteed to get a trade. And we're looking like we're in pretty good shape here. f3 can unleash the bishop. And I feel like now's a good time to do that. I just want my people in the game. Happy to give to get. We'll just play solidly. I wanted to play e4 to kick the bishop, but I don't think there's really any need. And he's helping me justify my choice with bishop c2, because I wanted to lift rooks anyway. And now let's go h3 to try to play g4 to get her done that way. And again, my opponent didn't take my plan into account, and that's going to hurt a little bit more as, ooh, now we're on tilt and just playing as quickly as we can, and that's not something to do against a strong player, because you're going to end up getting mated pretty quickly, as we see. All right, 0 points gained from that one. hopefully let's play somebody a little bit higher rated in game 2, as with 2 points we are moving up the ladder quite slowly in the hourly rapid arena. If it's an hourly rapid arena, how come it doesn't last an hour? How come it's 2? I don't know. These are the questions that come to my mind. As for berserking, we got 3 points for game 1. That's a nice little tasty treat. But as I can see, we got like a 2100 there. That'd be nice to play against. All right, we'll risk a little bit for the biscuit here, as our opponent is 2000, which is a competent player, but I would rate it probably around 1700 USCF from what I've seen. Maybe 1600 USCF, depending upon the player. And it's the only way to catch up is by doing a little bit of berserking. And as we see c6, I'm happy to play queen a4, mostly because if they're Slav players, it gets them to play a position and they have to think immediately. And that's what I like. I want him having to think early and often. And that's about it. Let's go ahead and get in d4. Not so sure if... okay. That is interesting. I don't like it for him. Normally you want to take with a pawn. I feel like I should be able to get some pressure here. c5 is coming. Okay. Your knight can be weird on h5. Not something you see every day, this pattern. Still have rook ac1. The pawn structure is really passive for black, so I've got some liberties I can take in the position. I didn't want to take on e5 because it fixes the weak pawn, and I want to keep that odd if I can. So we're just going to try to slowly improve here. h3 is another idea, threatening g4. But I'm hoping he'll release the tension when knight takes f3, where I'm strongly considering taking back with a pawn, where the threat of g4 will be existing, but I'm also controlling some squares in a weird way. It's interesting, but that's normally a good thing in these positions, having that pawn doubled there, as it keeps black's pieces from using key squares. I don't mind the solid stuff. Those who watch the channel on a regular basis, hopefully you get that. So what is going on here? Okay. Well, I'll just go bishop d2 since you're continuing the harassment. I can always drop back to e1 to cover the f2 square if more pressure is somehow added. But now h3 is a legitimate threat. And I'm going to go here. Queen takes b2, rook ac1. Is that even necessary? No, I can go h3 straight away, because my bishop is covering the knight. Okay. I like telling you to go away here. I just want that square. Ooh, that leaves me open for knight takes g3 in some lines, though. That I don't like. Okay, let's go ahead. Ooh, do I want to do that? Queen c2, knight takes g3, knight a4. Okay, that's more subtle. I like that. I don't know if he'll be able to help himself. Called it. Still problems. 2 pawns for the piece. Good trade. For me. For me. Queen d8 looks like a must. How am I going to organize? Wish this bishop could jump there. I would feel a lot better about my position. I'm having trouble figuring out where these guys are going in an effective manner. In the meantime, though, I mean, Queen d8, only move. You need to defend both the bishop and the queen. If he tries to get fancy with Queen a6, I think that just helps me. And he's thinking way too long about this, which I respect, trying hard. But your only advantage really was the extra time. Let's just start with knight c3 because I don't like the knight on the edge of the board. At least the bishop's doing something in comparison. And I'm going to come back here. That takes away the f5 square for the bishop. I expect something like knight h5. I'm going to go bishop d2. All right, bishop d2 anyway. The dream is to get the bishop there where it's anchored, and I have an extra layer of padding around my king. Then I start looking at ideas like knight d4, knight f5. Consolidate the position before trying to press. There's no reason to try to attack him. He's got a clump. When everybody is in a clump and working together, you don't need to try to press your opponent too much. Here, he's asking for it though. So when they're asking for it, we'll oblige. Okay. Trading's good. I'm okay with this life where I can get rid of your most dangerous pieces. And that's it. A little bit of pressure. Bishop e6 or bishop c6 is met by knight d4. Shut him down. And then I want to contest the open e file. Knight's not going anywhere ever. That's my boy. My boy's going to do work. So some rook lift is in order. Everything is in harmony here. I am not attacked. There's no pressure he can put on me. He can't do a lift and get over here because of my knight. My knight's golden. It's a one game. Now we got to win it. I respect that move. Maybe, well, you don't even have queen h6. Okay. Let's go ahead and put a pawn on the opposite color of the b while we have time to do that. And since you wanted to go there, let's go ahead and make the trade to gain a little time. And need to play a little bit faster. Just because you're winning doesn't mean you can slow down. Knight e5 was the idea, and that made it stronger. We're just going to go right back. Let's protect that guy. If he goes after this one, we go after that one. We'll take that. Is he gonna risk it? I wouldn't. Let's go ahead and get the king there. Ooh, don't want to do that. And I'll go after this pawn. A little bit harder than I needed to make it, but still a win. Trading rooks. It's a win, but it looks like I have to work there. That's not going to be good. Okay, now I'm fine, because I can win this guy. And then we have more than enough time for the knight to come back to stop the remaining pawn, so our king can protect our winner, the one that is destined to be a girl. All right, respectful resign. Good effort by my opponent, who is definitely making it difficult for me at the end there. And we have moved up the ladder quite considerably. We went from like 150th to 50th. We got a little bit of a streak going. Maybe we'll get to play against somebody like this. Oh, he's in a game. That would be a good opponent. Doesn't E5 just win there? Come on, Romarin. What you doing thinking so long? Yeah, E5. That's an auto move, baby. Get that fork. Where's my game? All right, 2170, but 2060. All right, we'll do it, because why not? Make it interesting. We'll go this way. Oh, fast. We can do that. I like the structure that I got. Let's eye that square. Keep him honest, no E5. Rook C8, and then knight C4, and I believe we have a pretty decent position. So he stops that, logical. Now we're going to reroute, try to harass the pawns again. Rook takes C3 is also to be considered with knight takes C4. I can do this all day. 'Twas expected. Now I can definitely utilize the C file. Okay. I'm into this. I have easier ways to get to the squares than you do, so I can be more annoying. Knight b6 again. The knight loves that square, man. It's the structure. He wills it. That looked like an only move. I'm just gonna do that. Let's apply some more pressure. See what happens. Really did expect that one. I was like, I'm starting to think like this guy. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't like that. Let's shut the door. H5 is coming. Pawn takes, knight c6. Knight e5. Alright, we can get away with this. Pawn takes, knight takes, rook c5. I think we're okay there too. Now the rook is defended so the knight can move. Outside past a pawn looks pretty good. Bishop covering the queening square. It's everything I hope and dream for. Knight e5's on the horizon. Could take, ruin the structure. I don't even know if I want to. The knight should be a good piece. Let him worry about that, though. Knight b3 is rook c to c8. Push knight b3. I can take on c3. Looks annoying. Strong, man. Bishops are designed for this. They were born for this. You don't say. Well, how about we do that? That looks pretty annoying. Pretty annoying. Can't take. Let's go ahead and grab that. And how about that move? Nice pressureful move. Lots and lots of pressure on that one. Knight c3, rook takes c3, rook takes c3, bishop takes d4. Was to be expected. When I come here, I've got a big threat. Nice, easy parry, big threat. King has a lovely square on h7 where he's completely safe, and I'm threatening taking both of these. So I'm going to snap off this one. And that's where it all falls apart. All right, moving up the ladder. Still have 30 minutes to go, and we're up to 25th place. That last one was worth 5 points from berserking and being on a streak. So I think I can finish well if I keep doing that. But it's getting harder because that last guy, he was definitely competent. 2100 rated player. But it's good practice to do this. I definitely don't agree with his opening choice, though. You go for something creative and dynamic versus a player that is a good bit stronger. Typically, you want to stay in theory, stay where you can be protected, and you're solid. That was going that route the way that he did is asking for the pain. You got to be careful with that. All right, 1800. You got it, man. Let's get it going. I'm feeling Sicilian today. Okay, Alpine it is, which is the normal choice when facing pretty much anybody that is under a certain rating these days. Hurts my soul. I want to see more aggressive chess. I feel like e4 open Sicilian. That's like, if you're not doing that, why aren't you doing that? And I've never seen this before in my life. I'm going to go with this move. Okay. That's typically a capture that is good. I'm going to go there. I don't know. I need to pick up the pace. That looks like a free one. I'm going to take the free one. All right. How about here? Threaten stuff. Just because it feels nice. And I'm worried about stuff, so I'm going to go bishop c7. Bishop f4 I can take. Bishop takes d5. I take with the queen. Rook e1. I go queen f6. All right, we're doing fine here. Okay, he wanted bishop f4. You don't want to trade with me in that one. Okay. Castles, bishop h6, bishop e5. Do I even want to allow any of that? c4, queen e7. I think we're okay doing that. But bishop e5 is a little bit inflexible. I'm going to go queen e5 instead with the idea of queen f6. Did I just walk into that? I did. Bishop f4, like one on the spot. Dumb. Dumb, 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 dumb. Dumb. All right. Dumb. 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 Shake it off. No blunders. Other than that one. Goodness. Said watch out for bishop f4. Allows bishop f4, losing immediately. With this much of a hole in the clock, even with my opponents, to be completely honest, no disrespect, subpar play, I think he'd have more than enough from an Alpine position to win. So that would have been a tournament ruiner. But after f6, we're right as rain. Somehow. Remember, good players are always lucky. And how you bounce back after making a mistake or having a bad loss is a lot to do with whether you'll be successful in tournaments as well. It worked the first time. It's working the second time. Give me all of them. All of your minor pieces. And much pain for my opponent here. Much pain. Bishops were meant to be used on the long diagonals. H5. Ooh. Gotta watch out for pesky mates. Other than that, I think we're golden here. If the lady comes off the board, he has no chance of winning. So that's what we're aiming for. Queen h5. We got to watch out for g6 followed by queen h7. So queen h5. Okay, we can stop queen h5 with queen e2 here. And that looks like a wise decision. Kill counterplay and then win with the extra material. But if you just think, oh, bishops are great, they're going to save me. No, you still have losing chances. Always assess a position as what is most dangerous for you and go backwards from there. I mean, even if you're an aggressive player, you're just thinking, I have to hit my opponent harder than he's hitting me. And that's one way to do it, but this is a completely different way. And we're going to have a very clean and straightforward path to victory here. Provoke g4, I go bishop c2. Maybe he forgets about this rook. Probably not, but I just wanted to test. And now I'm looking for dirty tactics to just win this. g6, I have rook f7. Lots of discoveries here, lots of pain. Looking for the knockout punch. Let's go there first. And wow, that's not good. How about we just do that? No threat of mate. Again, take my own advice, kill counterplay first. It's like e5 almost works, but he has that square. All right. We'll make our life easy. Watch key squares. This is harder than it should be. It truly is. We have an extra bishop. Killing the counterplay is far more important. And now there is nothing to think about. Push, 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 push. Cover that. E5 can anchor. Progress. Set subtle traps. And this is where you fall down. All right, do we have time to break into the top 10? Number 12 right now, making some progress. My play's getting weaker as the tournament's going on though. That's a shame. Meh. Meh, meh, meh. How come Romarin gets to play a 1300 and he's number 1? Huh. Hard to get points if you don't have a game. Grrr. All right, what we got? Yeah. And I'm always checking the blitz rating. That's what I'm doing. Make sure it's not some sleeper. Oh, we got a gamer, folks. There we go. Respect. Man, I like playing them on equal footing. Makes me feel better. That's not going to do, boss. Definitely want to get the bishop outside the chain. This is a really, really terrible Catalan where white just gets the whole center now for free. This is not going to be fun for you. H3, E4, bishop E3. You know what? Let's get everybody. Let's get everybody involved here. Queen's better on C2 anyway. Thank you, thank you. Knight there. E4 and get a big center. Liking the style of the Grunfeld. Let's do it. Bishop's looking mighty funny. Lots of little plans here to improve that I like. Bishop E3, C4. I'm still doing that. And I like this plan. So if he goes c5, I have d5, and I'll have a protected pass pawn. If he doesn't do that, I have c5 or e5. I kind of like e5 here. I'm going with that. And let's line that up just for fun. Queen c7, bishop g5. I may want to go a4 just to see if I can't play a5, give a little tickle to the pawn structure. Starting to resemble the type of attacking plans you get in a King's Indian attack. But like I said, it turned out to be like a really, really good Catalan for white. I've got space. Black's natural break of c5 looks like it's going to end in devastation. I'm going to go with my first instinct there. You get rid of the b. Knight takes. I'm threatening mate for one, but also the positional threat of knight e4, c5, knight d6, bone in the throat forever piece. A positional nightmare. Haha. Sorry. I do actually sincerely apologize for that. Doesn't change my opinion. Keeps him silly, keeps the break. Knight e4, knight d6, and that knight is just disgustingly good. That's a shame I can't take back with a pawn, though. I missed that. And now I can take back with a knight. Maybe bishop e4 was an idea there as well. Hard to say. I like taking with a knight. This may be weaker, but his pawns are also snaggletooth. The remaining bishops, his bishop stares at his pawn, my bishop stares at a target and controls a key square. So that's piece domination. So I expect rook d to d8, and then here, then bishop a8, and then knight a6. Looks okay, but he just improves. So where is the breakthrough here? When in doubt, stay flexible. Knight d7. Okay. And see, that's why you bring your rod, folks. You got to look for those fishing attempts, and I didn't see a way to force knight a6 is good, so you let it sit in the air and let your opponent make it good for you. And this was a case of opening surprise. Queen a4 has served me very well in a lot of games, and for good reason, as we broke into the top 10. Very pleased with that. Looks like El Matador has overtaken Romarin with 10 minutes to go. I don't know if they'll pair us in another game, and it definitely, unless my opponent berserks, won't be able to finish in time. but it'll still count for rating. So we'll play the last game seriously. Hopefully we get paired one, but it looks like we're gonna finish top 10 unless somebody like Homie is on a streak and gets another win beforehand. Okay. Yeah. We got a game, so let's go ahead and take it seriously. And I believe this line is the way to go. Doesn't give them time to set up an ideal position. Better pawn structure for white forever. Just a little something. I don't ask for much when I play, just a little something, especially with white. And I like how relaxed people are in 10-minute compared to 3 and 5. Like, they play so much slower. And I'm like, okay, I will take my time edge and I'm going to pressure you with it later in the game. You can bet money on that. We get an equal position, I'm going to torture the guy based on the clock. He's using way, way too much time. Weaknesses everywhere. Simple move, simple ideas, lots of frustration. This is good. What is best in life? This is good. Sorry, I constantly do movie references in my head. That's going to be weak. And how about we put her there? Queen a5 is definitely a move I have in my mind's eye. Queen a3 is another idea. To hold the b pawn so I can move the bishop out. I kind of like queen a5 followed by bishop f4. I'm trying to figure out a way to finish development because the rook on the open file is good, but it's painful for black, I think, to try to finish development here. Lots of subtleties, we'll say, that are in my favor because the pawn structure is just, to me, it looks terrible for black. Makes his life difficult. I'm kind of leaning towards queen a5. The idea is b3, followed by bishop b2. Let's make sure he can't utilize the c6 square for his knight. And this keeps his pieces awkward a bit longer. Now with d5, I have bishop f4, and that hits the c7 pawn. So everything's kind of coming together for me here. I'm not too concerned with d5, d4, as the pin is still... It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Nice pressure we have in the position. Knight d5 is a move I did not consider at all until right now. Probably a good decision to try to give it away now. If I take on d6, he takes on c3, I take back with the pawn, he takes back on d6. And the queen is hit. Knight d5, cd6, knight c3, bc3, cd6, queen d8, rook f d8, bishop g5, rook d7, bishop h3, f5, knight d5, cd6, okay, knight d5, knight takes d5, c takes d5, c takes d6, and I'm fixing his pawn structure for him and letting his bishop out, so I really don't want to do that. I want to keep the pawns. Well, I'm fixing his pawns no matter what I do now. Looks like we're playing for clock in this one. Knight d5, knight takes d5, c takes d5, bishop takes d5. Why not do that? Yeah, knight d5, knight d5, c d5, bishop d5, bishop d5, rook d5. And if bishop b2, rook b2, c takes d6. I don't know so much about that line. I think that helps. I'm going to go there, and yeah, this is now beginning to fall apart for my opponent. All my pieces are active. His are still in a clump. I felt like you had to try knight d5 there to mix it up. Otherwise, it's over. Bishop takes c3 now. Queen takes c3 with the threat of bishop h6. f6. Bishop takes f8 because he's got to stop the mate. Three minutes left in the arena. If my opponent uses all of his time and I use none, I can't get the points for this last game, so not in too much of a rush here. If it was like 5 minutes or 6 minutes, I'd test it, but I think my opponent is, yeah. Okay. I don't like to see the same flags. It's like, friendly, come help. He's smacking me. Hard. Let's just play simple chess. Uh-huh. Again, when it's looking like your opponent is doing stuff like this, chill. Just chill. Let them come to you. They will. Don't you worry. I really like that idea now. Hard to get his queenside pieces doing much. That was the goal of c5 earlier. Now it's starting to come to fruition. And with bishop d4, I'm offering to trade off a main defender of his king and the only good minor piece that he has. I can look to follow up with e3 and b4 and then reroute the queen. And I've got time here. And I understand what you're telling me. You want that square. give it to you because I'm a nice guy. So nice that I will let you get this. And we're interested in trading. That's going to be a negative Ghost Rider. Slightly better. Bishop f5 takes away b1 from the rook. I would really like b1 for the rook. Rook c3, a5. Rook c3 is okay. B takes a5. Still has to worry about it being a passed pawn. So let's go with that. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? Why did I hallucinate the fact that the queen was covering that? But my opponent, he's a nice guy. He decided to let me get away with that one. Really nice guy. All right. Yeah, I'm not liking the way this is going. Play some hurry-up chess. Most of the advantage is gone. Rook e4 I need to take. And then do that. And this position has slipped so much that it's ridiculous. Yeah, I gave it all away. Every bit of advantage that I had. Okay, I need to keep you out. True facts. We must build a wall. And now we're good. The time is going to be the factor. I don't like my position at all, but time is a huge factor here. All right, so I got the goal of 2350, which I set out for at the beginning. And all right, we broke into the top 10. We started an hour late, so that's commendable. And I can't remember if I have it airing on YouTube or not. No, I've got it on our Patreon. So if you're interested to see how I did in my first tournament, I won it. You can take a look on Patreon because I straight up beast moded for 2 straight hours, and it was fun. But that's how one of the ways that my rating climbed up the ladder so quickly. Let's see where we're at overall with the rating increase. So we've increased to top 3,000. With a rapid rated of 2351, and I definitely think there's room for more. And I want to take a look at the last game because I definitely feel like there was much to be desired. I felt like I had a big edge around c5 and then gradually pitched it with extremely mediocre play. Okay, c5. Rook d3 or rook d2? Rook d3. What's up with that? You get the rook to defend. Huh. That was not on my radar at all. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yep. e4. I did not consider that, but that's a way to get the knight out of the way. And if knight b5, a4 kicks him. And now devastation and tactics everywhere. That was the way to do it. I didn't need to get rid of the knight. Without knights, there are no tactics. Listen to Tao. And without the knights, my opponent, yeah, he equalizes immediately. I thought I had more. And then -4. That's how devastating it was. So mutual blunders there. And then -5 again. Just bishop c2. Blunderfest at the end here. Really, utterly pathetic play. I did at least see king e5. I had to play f4. But at this juncture, this is winning for black. So really, really inadequate play at the end there. But I did steer the game enough when my opponent had 40 seconds to be able to get the unnecessary blunder in the rook and pawn endgame. And I knew my passers were faster, and especially with his king being in the way, it should be trivial. I was expecting something like check, and then with my king here, yeah, mate in 10. As the rook moves, the pawns are still moving forward, his king stuck on the back rank. There's just mate threats everywhere, and there's nothing his rook can do about it, and his pawns are too far away to be of use. So yeah, really, really mediocre game. Lots of blunders there. I was pleased with the opening, and especially c5. But other than that, ew. All right, thanks for joining in. If you stayed with us for the entire hour, smash that like button. Let me know you're there. Thanks.